Hello students, today we are going to do the chapter matter from the book Headlights, class 5. Let's start. So what is actually matter? Everything we see around us, books, pencil, copies, your blackboard. So everything around us that occupies space and is called matter and has mass. Okay. So a general word we say is that everything we see, we can see. That is called matter. But there is a scientific definition for it, that anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. Now look at the classification you did in the activity given above. Which substances have a fixed volume and a fixed shape? Which ones have a fixed volume but no fixed shape? And which ones have neither a fixed volume nor a fixed shape? See, we had in the first page, an activity is given in which we have few things in which you have to classify. Basically, this activity tells us that when we are studying about matter, we classify the matter into three types, which is called solids, liquids and gases. So what are solids? Like say your book, your pencil. So the substances which have a fixed shape and a fixed volume are called solids. Now let's start with the liquids. Water, milk and lemonade. They do not have a fixed shape but have a fixed volume. So these are called liquids. Now we come to gases. Oxygen, carbon dioxide and nitrogen have neither a fixed shape nor a fixed volume. So they are called gases. All matter is made up of tiny particles. So what actually, like when we say about human body, it is made up of very small cells called cells, right? The smallest substance which is called cells. Suppose you make up you must have played with the building blocks. So the single block, you can say that block acts as a particle in case of matter. So there has to be some characteristics of the particles of matter. So what do we say this? Particles have spaces between them. So these spaces are called interparticle spaces. Now they have given an activity to tell that the spaces actually are present. Suppose you take a glass of water and you put some salt in it. So what do you observe? After stirring, the salt dissolves completely. Why? Because the molecules which are present in the water, they have some space between them. In that space, the particles of the salt enter and so it gets dissolved. Okay, so here the question can be asked, why the salt dissolves in water? Only because of the presence of spaces between the particles. Okay, so another property is that particles of matter are continuously moving. How can we show this? Now they are showing you take an incense stick, agarbatti, and then you burn it. You can feel the smell in another room. So why? Because the gases, their particles, they can diffuse. Diffuse means they spread in all the directions. Right? The third is that particles of matter attract each other. Now, see, if any substance is made up of particles, we said, say a piece of chalk or iron, so it also has particles, but when we break chalk, we are able to break it, but if we are told to break an iron rod, we can't. Why? Because here lies another property, that the property of attraction. Now this force of attraction between the particles, called the interparticle force of attraction, this also has a level of it, whether it is very strong, weak. So in case of chalk, the particles have a weak force of attraction. That is why we are able to break the chalk and not the piece of iron, right? So the questions which are given, we have done what is matter, give example. You can give any example you can see in your class, right? Then why, with the help of example, explain the particles of matter attract each other. This we have done. Then this comes in the properties. Why the incense stick in one room, you can smell it in another room? because the particles of the gases, they can move in all the direction, and this property is called diffusion. Okay, now we come to solids. Now when we classify the things which you can see, right? Why we will say that this is solid, this is liquid, or this is gas? Because of some properties, right? So how do we define solids? Solids are also matter. When we say there are three states of matter, so solid is one state. Here the particles are very closely packed. Why? Because the force of attraction is very, very strong. Second, the interparticle spaces are negligible. So try to understand, if there are particles, if this is given in the figure, the force of attraction is very strong. That is why they are very close to each other. But if we see in liquid, they are a bit far because the attraction force was less. That is why they became far. So this force of attraction is responsible for giving them a particular fixed shape. Right, like a pencil. It has a fixed shape and a fixed volume. They cannot be compressed. Now, can you compress a pencil? No. They are rigid, true, and they do not flow. So, these are the properties of solids. Similarly, if you go to liquids, again, the force of attraction is comparatively weak as compared to solids. Then they have other properties like they do not have a fixed shape. They take the shape of the container. Like if you take water, you can put it in a glass, you can put it in a bowl, you can put it in the spoon. It comes in the spoon also, in the bottle also, in a bowl also, right? So it is taking the shape of whichever container we are putting in. They have a fixed volume. They cannot be compressed much. They flow easily and are known as fluids. This is also very important, that why are they called fluids? Because they can flow easily. Similarly, we come to gases. The force of attraction is very weak. They neither have a fixed shape nor a fixed volume. Now, this diagram can come and be told to identify which state of matter it is, or you draw and show the force of attraction, comparison between solid, liquid, and gases. See, there are points which are given, and this will be written as answers. Now, gases can be compressed. We know that if you take a balloon and you try to press it, we can compress it, but you cannot press a pencil. Even the gases flow. Okay. Now, see, it is written. That is why gases are pressed, compressed, and they are filled in containers also. Now, there is another state which is given here called plasma. It is a fourth state. Plasma was first identified by Sir William Crookes. Now, it is like a state which is in the form of ions is called plasma. This you don't need to study in this class. Like we have sun, we say that it's always burning. Those are gases which are burning. So that state is called plasma. Now we come to, okay, then again the differences are given, solid, liquids and gases, which we have already done. Now what happens when we heat something? See, temperature means increasing the temperature and decreasing both. Let's start with the increasing. Now this is a fact that matter always expands on heating. What does that mean? Now this can be seen in all the three states, which means in solids, liquids and gases. So whenever we are giving heat, it is a type of energy, right? This energy helps to overcome this force of attraction, due to which the particles start separating, moving away from each other, right? So when the particles are moving, that particular substance expands. So this leads to change in matter. Now the example has been given, for example, solid. Now they have given this picture of the electric wires. It sags and railway track buckle. Buckle means slightly bent in summers due to expansion. When there is too much of heat, the wires also sag down, electric wires. So why? Because the length of the wire has increased because of expansion. So, and the reason is again the same, the force of attraction becomes less because so that is why this leads to expansion. Now, what about liquids? Now, everybody has seen a thermometer. It has a mercury, not the digital one, the mercury thermometer. If you measure it, suppose if you have fever, you have seen the mercury goes up, right? So this is how it happens, because when it gets heat, it expands. Now, expansion of gases. Now, see this picture. You can do this at home also. Okay, you place a balloon over a bottle, fill the bottle with water, and then you put the bottle above a gas burner, or you can take a candle, or and then if you burn, what happens, the air which was present in the flask, it will get heated, so it expands, and so it fills the balloon, and so the balloon gets inflated. Otherwise the balloon will not inflate, right? Like hot air balloons, they work on this principle. They have to, they heat the air, due to which it expands. Now, what is interconversion? Interconversion is that, can we change the states of matter? Yes, we can. From one state to another state, how? Now, first is by increasing the temperature. If we increase the temperature, means we are giving heat energy. On giving heat energy, the particles, again, see, the basic fundamental of this entire chapter is the force of attraction. If we increase the force of attraction, what happens? The particles start moving away from each other. Solid will be converted to liquid. On further heating, liquid to gases. So there are three, this process called melting, evaporation and sublimation, whenever we are giving heat. Now let's start. Suppose you have ice, you give heat, it melts to liquid, it becomes water. This is common, everybody must have seen. So this change of state is called melting. On heating, okay, now you take the liquid and you further heat it. What happens? Evaporation is the process of conversion of liquids into vapors. Like we have, due to sunlight, you are putting clothes, they dry up. Where does the water go? The water gets converted to water vapor and goes in the atmosphere. So this process is called evaporation. Now, this happens during normal days when the sunlight is there, right? This is called evaporation. Now, what is vaporization is that we are giving external heat and too much of heat, like the boiling of water. If you keep water on the table, that will also evaporate, right? That will be due to the heat by the sun, right? The atmospheric heat. But if we are actually giving an external heat to a large extent, like you put it on the gas, then it is called vaporization. The water vapors are formed, right? Now, what is sublimation? This is a special type of process in which there is a direct conversion of solid to vapor. Now, you must have seen naphthalene balls. We keep it in the cupboards to prevent the insects coming. So, those are white colored balls, and after a month you will say the balls have disappeared. Why? Because it was solid, it was converted into directly into the vapor form. Even the camphor which we use in temples, so it gets converted, it is a solid, small pellets, like white colored, and on burning you can try it out at home. Then what happens if we decrease the temperature? See, this is a cycle from solid liquids to gases. Now we are going reverse. Now there is a gas. As the temperature will decrease, again the force of attraction, it means, will be less. So particles will start coming together. Right. So here we see two processes called condensation and freezing. So gas to liquid called condensation. Now you take out this cold water bottle from the fridge, keep it on the table. You see water droplets outside. Why? Because the bottle surface is cold and the air outside, which has water vapor. Now this air, when comes in contact with the cold surface of the water bottle, what happens? The water vapor, they will take the cooling from the surface, and this droplets will convert it into the liquid form. So this leads to water droplets, right? You can experiment this at home. Take out water from the fridge, right? You take the water bottle, and then when you keep it, after some time you will see droplets. So it is the water vapor in the air coming in contact with the cold surface of the bottle and then converting into water droplets. So this process is called condensation. And what is freezing? Converting liquid to solid. Best example is as you put water in your freezer, you are decreasing the temperature. So by decreasing, the attraction is more. So due to which the particles come together and finally the liquid is converting into ice. So this diagram is very important. We can see the arrows, and this is the water vapor. I think this is clear. Then we come to solution. What is a solution? So it is a special type of mixture when we mix two substances. Now there has to be two things. One is the solute and one is the solvent. Now what is it actually? Now take, say, example of sugar water. Here it is given, or salt water, or lemonade, or so you have water in which you are dissolving sugar. So water is called the solvent in this. So the definition will be the substance in which another substance dissolves. Here water is the solvent and the solute is the sugar. Now then water is called the universal solvent. Why? Because it can dissolve many substances. Right? That is why it is called the universal solvent. Now there are many types of solutions with examples that you need to learn. Solid and liquid. Now solid and liquid means solid is put inside the liquid. So here the solute is the solid, like salt, sugar, putting in the water. Liquid and liquid, both are liquid, solid, solute as well as solvent. For example, milk in water, lemon juice in water. Gas in the liquid. Now you're putting gas inside the liquid. How? You have drinks, when you open it, suddenly that bubbling and the bubbles come out because the gas is dissolved inside that liquid. Right? It's like the aerated drinks. And also you have water. If you see in water bodies, oxygen is dissolved inside it. Then we have gas in gas. Air is the best example. So many gases are present in the air. Now we come to miscible and immiscible liquids. Those liquids which dissolve in each other when they are mixed are called miscible. Like lemonade, lemon juice, it means they dissolve very nicely and you are not able to just by looking find out where is the lemon juice and where is water. But if you suppose try to mix oil and water, try to do it at home, you will see a definite layer of oil floating above. So they have not been mixed properly, not possible to mix, so they have separate layers. Okay, so this is an example of immiscible liquids. I think we have done all the questions. See, MCQs are very easy, and remaining these give reasons. Matter expands on heating. Whenever we give heat, it is a type of energy. Intermolecular forces become weak, particles start moving away from each other. This leads to expansion. And the second is also the same. It changes state on heating. The reason is again the same. Giving heat, forces of attraction, expansion, and this. Again, see, the force of attraction is the answer even for the third. It's given in the book also. The chalk has less force of attraction, so we can break it. Then we have liquids can flow, but solids cannot. Again, the force of attraction is very strong, so they cannot flow. Okay. Now, why is it easier to move your hand in air? Now, you must have done swimming. When you swim, you need to put some force. You have to exert some force to put your hand inside water, right? But if you are moving your hand in air, you feel as if there is nothing. Why? Because the particles are again very far apart in air. So the space, the interparticular space is huge. So your hand goes in very easily. This is not possible for solids at all. And in water it is possible. But as compared to air, you need to put some force inside it. So again, the solids have a fixed shape because they have a strong intermolecular force of attraction. Differences we have done. Question number 4, draw how the particle would look like in each of the following cases. This is the diagram which has been given, which I told you. You have to show the particles stuck together, this, and this. Okay. Question number 5, metal pieces of different shapes around you. Metal is hard. See, we say that metal is hard, and how are we making those shapes? If you see, you have a bangle of metal, then you have a nail, you have grills, you have gates, so many things, different shapes, because metal can be beaten. That property is called malleability, and ductility is the property it can be drawn into wires. So it is actually heated, converted to molten state, then you can make a lot of shapes, or as such at a particular temperature they are beaten, right? So these two properties are responsible for giving the shapes, different type of shapes. Okay, I think there is nothing more in this chapter. The main concept of this chapter is again the force of attraction, the intermolecular space, the interparticle space. The entire question will be framed on this thing, that why why it is having a fixed shape, why this flows differences. This diffusion is very important in terms of gases, why you can smell an incense stick from one room to another room. I think that's it.